Hey everyone, welcome to another masterclass. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at print marketing to prospects. Consistent letterbox drops or print marketing is still a great way to generate brand exposure and listing opportunities. And when done well and consistently, it can really start to build up and create those listing opportunities that we're all looking for. In today's video, we're going to cover preparing your prospect data for a letterbox drop campaign. We'll run through exporting your prospects from the Arrow CRM into a mail merge file. And then we're going to dive into bulk creating flyers using your data in Canva. So it's a feature that's only reasonably new within the Canva application. It allows you to do what you would do normally in a Word document with mail merge. And you can do it with these fantastic visual flyers within the Canva application. We're also going to look at some of the free Canva downloads that the team over at Leadfleet, our partner company that focuses on digital marketing, have made available to everyone completely for free. There's no details that you got to put in or anything. So we're going to use those and we're going to make some changes, show you how to do that, and then show you how to use that data out of your prospect database to bulk generate those flyers, okay? And then lastly, we're going to dive into something a little bit more traditional and mail merge our prospect data into a Word document to create a more traditional letter, which absolutely is still a great way to go. All right, let's dive into it. So I'm just going to go and jump into the Arrow CRM, and I've just gone straight into the prospects area, which is taking me into my list of prospects or my list of properties, okay? Now from in here, we've got a range of new features and options in here to make it easier for you to manage your prospects, okay? Lots of new filtering, quick searches. We can easily filter down to a suburb or an address. Something that's quite common is obviously doing a letterbox drop run in a specific street or suburb, depending on how big that area is. We can easily come in here, type in an address or a suburb and filter down to that specific street. So I've got a few addresses in here in Cinnamon Avenue. I'll go ahead and click search on that address filter and you'll see that that'll just pull up any locations or any properties in that specific street, okay? And from there we can begin the process of generating our list for our letterbox drops, okay? We've also got filter by an entire suburb, owner status, properties without owners, and then a range of other things within the custom filter section, okay? What I'm going to do today is we're going to use just this list here that I've got. It's a reasonably short list. And that's just going to speed things up and help me show you an example nice and quickly. You can absolutely come in here and filter your prospect list right down to whatever you're planning on doing that letterbox drop run to, using those filters up the top left. Okay. Once you've got this list of prospects filtered or properties filtered to what you want to show, a great way to take that next step into actually doing that letterbox drop campaign is to just go and select everything that's in view, and we're going to go ahead and add them to favorites, okay? And this is just going to move them into my favorite list. It keeps it in that list then. If I do happen to have to navigate away to do something else in the system, it's going to stay there so that I can come back and keep going with this. So think of that favorite list as sort of your current campaign, your active campaign that you're preparing or running, okay? And then what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and add in some extra data here just to make sure we've got everything in here that we need to then go and bulk create our flyers or our mail merge document, okay? So the data in here is reasonably basic because it's what we want to see when we're actively using the software. But if we're going to export this data, we probably want to include a few extra details, okay? So we'll just come up to column selection in the top right-hand corner. And for this example, we're just going to include the first name and last name of our primary owner. Okay, so I just come down and I tick on primary owner first name, primary owner last name. Okay, and you're going to see a little bit about why I've included that down the track. You can include everything in here. You can include just some stuff. It's really up to you, and it depends on what you're sending out in your letterbox drop, flyer, or document as to what you're going to include in here. For today's example, we're just going to add those columns. I'll click on apply, and you'll see that those two columns have been added on the right hand side. Okay, we've now got primary owner first name and last name. Okay, cool. So on to the next step. We've got our list of prospects or properties prepared. We've filtered it, we've set it as favorites, and we've added in some additional data. What we're going to do now is we're going to export that data, okay, so that it's ready to be brought into our flyers or our Word docs. So we'll click on this ellipsis up in the top right hand corner, and we'll go ahead and click on Mail Merge Export. Okay, and that's going to pull up the Mail Merge Export window. Now there's a few options in here that I just want to talk you through, because there's you might need to tick and choose some different things depending on how you're doing the campaign. Okay, so first thing, contacts to include, we've got all linked owners or only primary owners. Okay, so what that means is if you've got a property and it's got 2 or 3 owners within the system linked to it, it will generate a separate row in the export for each of those owners, which means that each of those owners is going to receive a copy of whatever you are sending. Okay, absolutely a great way to go if there's multiple residents at the address and you want to address them individually, then you would leave that ticked. If you only want to send one flyer or one letter per address, and you just want to address whoever is marked as the primary owner, you'd go ahead and tick that. And that's what we're going to do today. And it's probably sort of the best way to go in most scenarios. We're going to do it today just to keep our list a little shorter and make things move a little quicker. Okay. Next field is include records without owners. Okay. So sometimes your list of prospects or properties in your database, they won't have owner records. In fact, a lot of them won't, because you haven't been able to determine what their names are, or you haven't brought that data in from your third-party data source, whether it be Pricefinder or CoreLogic. We can opt to exclude them, or we can leave them included, which is the default inside Arrow. And then we can specify a name for how we want to address them, right? Because we don't have an owner record in Arrow, we can tell Arrow how to address those people. Okay, so we're going to leave it as the default of property owner. You could change that to something else, and you're going to see how that comes out in this export shortly. And then we can also opt to include a salutation with the owner names. We are going to turn this on depending on the program you're exporting to. So Word will allow you to put a salutation in front of their name in your letter. So you can kind of get away with not including this, but then for programs like Canva that you're going to see shortly, it doesn't allow you to put a salutation in front of the name. So you kind of need to have that built into the export, and that's why this is included in this Mail Merge Export. Okay, so if you do tick that, just choose how you want to address them, right? So we're going to leave it as dear. So it's going to go dear first name, last name. So dear John Smith, dear Jane Doe, that kind of thing. Or you could change that to or hi, whatever you prefer. Okay. Once we've done that, we will just go ahead and click on that export button, and that'll do its thing. And you'll see we've got our file that's been exported and saved to my downloads. Okay. We are going to jump into that real shortly, and I'm going to show you how to use that data and read that data and then how to bring it into a document. Before we do that, we're gonna get straight into our next step, and that's preparing our flyers. Okay, so we're going to focus on our visual flyers, and we're going to be looking at producing those within Canva. Now, to give you a bit of a head start, our partner company Leadfleet, which specializes in all things digital marketing, whether it's print marketing, ads, design, really bespoke websites, they have actually gone ahead and done up a range of prospecting mail out templates. Okay, it's completely free to access. There's no registration required. All you got to do is jump on the Leadfleet website, go to learn, downloads, and you'll see this article. We'll chuck a link below as well in this release, so you can click straight through to that if you do want to get that head start. Okay, and it's going to take you to a page that looks like this on my screen, and it's essentially just a post talking about how print marketing is still a very relevant way to get exposure and get listing opportunities. And then down here, we get straight into these downloads, okay? Now, all you've got to do is click on these big aqua buttons, and it's going to take you to that template within the Canva system, and then you can add it to your Canva account, okay? If you don't have a Canva account, I can't stress enough how much I recommend getting a Canva account to do this kind of work in your office. It just speeds the entire process up. Bonus is it's Australian owned, and so which we love to support, and they're doing some really cool stuff. I've got some great AI tools and some of these bulk generation tools that you're going to see today. So by all means, give this a whirl. Alternatively, you can create a flyer from scratch if you don't want to use these free downloads. Okay, so we've got 3 different types of flyers in this free pack of downloads from Leadfleet, and then we've also got a couple of letter templates as well that we're going to use later on in our Word example. All right. I'm going to go ahead and use this first template as an example, okay? I won't show you the process of downloading and adding it to your Canva account because you've got to set up an account and all that kind of stuff, okay? So we're going to skip forward, all right? And you're going to see me jump into this tab here. Okay, now this is our test Canva account, and what I've done is I've brought that exact same template that you just saw on that Leadfleet download, I've brought it into my Canva account, and that's what you're looking at here, okay? Just zoom out a touch, and you can see all those details in there, okay? So what we are going to do is we're going to make some quick changes to this, okay? We're going to put some content in, just to give you a brief rundown on how to use Canva and that kind of stuff. I won't go into too much detail. There's a lot of tutorials and education out there on how to do this, but we will just do a few basic things just to prepare this to then go and bulk generate, okay? So alrighty, so I have just I've gone into my uploads area where I've brought in a few images that I want to use in this particular flyer, okay, that I'm going to take you through. Okay, so we're going to leave like the address and stuff the same. Okay, you can absolutely just click in here and change all of that when you're doing it. Just to speed things up, we'll leave it the same. We'll bring in an image and we'll set that as the background image. And we'll bring another image into this team member slot here. And we'll just make some color changes. Okay, we're going to leave all this content the same. We will also bring in our logo. So I'm just going to bring this one in here. Oops. Make that a lot smaller. Delete this little placeholder that's in the free template. Drag our logo over there on the right. I'm just gonna actually just take that off the background real quickly and change this background to suit my brand, and then I'll put that back on the background, and then I'm just going to darken it a little bit. Again, getting into a few of the sort of the nitty-gritty details within Canva. Hopefully you're picking up on a few of the things I've done here, but you can absolutely sort of spend a little bit of time fiddling around with this and making changes to these templates as well. Like, this is just a starting point for you, so you can come in and change a few of the details. You've got a lot of flexibility to do whatever you want in here. Okay, so we've changed that image to the image of the property that we've sold that we're about to send out. Put our logo in, put our team shot. Oh, we've got another logo slot down here, so we'll go ahead and bring that logo in again. And we'll just move that one over using our keys. And we might just darken that image as well. So we'll just make it a little bit transparent so we can see our logo in the bottom left corner. Okay, now we have got some content here as well, and this is what you're going to start to see me bulk create these templates with, right? Because this currently has this ugly little merge field in here called first name, okay, which we obviously we don't want to go and print and hand out, and we've got another one in here for suburb. Now we're going to bulk generate this, and we're going to personalize this flyer for each of those prospects that we're about to letterbox drop to. Okay, and that's what's all doable in Canva now. Okay, so the next step to do that, once you've got this template all prepared and you're happy with the content on here. Actually, one last thing I will touch on is just this QR code generator. Another little bonus of Canva is that we can generate these right from within Canva. So easiest way is to just come into Elements and search for QR code. And then there's an actual QR code app inside Canva. Okay, so all we do is we click on Use App, and then we enter the URL that we want to link to. Okay, so in this particular flyer, we've got a What's My Home Worth button or call to action in this bottom right hand corner. So we'd link to like our appraisal page or like a Selling With Us landing page. So you just go ahead and chuck that URL in here and then click generate, and it's going to spit out a QR code just like this one. Okay, so make sure you update those QR codes that are on these flyers, because at the moment they just link, I think, to the Lead Fleet homepage. Okay, just as an example. Alrighty. All right, now let's say we've got this flyer already. We've made all our changes. Now we want to go through and bulk generate. Okay. So what we can do is down in the bottom left corner here, we've got an app within Canva called Bulk Create. Okay. Now, if you can't find it there, you can go into apps and search for Bulk Create and it'll come up there. Okay. Once you've found it, you've gone to Bulk Create. This is what you're going to see. Okay. We've got two options: enter data manually or upload data. All right. Now we've just done that export from within the Arrow CRM. So we're going to go ahead and click on upload data. And then we're going to select our export that we just did. And that's going to bring in our all of our columns from that export that we've just done from within the software. Okay, and you'll see some similarities here between what we were just looking at inside Arrow and what's in this export. So we've got our address, our property types, our owners, consultants. There's that first name and last name that we exported. Got an address block, and then we've got those owners with salutation as well in here, so we can use that salutation if we want. So now what Canva allows us to do is it allows us to map these columns or these fields to a piece of data inside our template. Okay, so what we do, this particular heading here, I'm just going to copy. And then what we'll do is, so on the heading or the text that you want to have automatically generated from your data, we right click on it and we go connect data. And then you'll see all those same fields showing in here. Okay. We're going to just address the person by their first name in this flyer, keep it pretty casual. So we'll go ahead and click on primary owner first name. Okay. And then we're just going to go. So one thing Canva does is it doesn't show that preview straight away. So we'll just delete that second line. And then from here, we're just going to delete that placeholder merge field that's in the Lead Fleet template. Okay. And we'll just go ahead and position this where we want to. I'm just using the up and down keys at the moment. Okay. You can see there, it's got this little label up the top showing that data is going to come from primary owner first name. Okay. And then we've got our other subheading, discover your home's true value. And then this here, we're not going to pull this from a merge field. You absolutely could, but just to keep things moving, we'll just go ahead and manually type this in because we're letterbox drop, doing a letterbox drop campaign in one street or location. This suburb doesn't actually need to change. So we'll just go ahead and change that to specializing in Noosa real estate, because this particular example property is in Noosa. Okay. So we've mapped our data to this block of text. We've made some changes to the template, and we've got this template to the point where it's ready to go. Okay. What we do now is we come back over to this bulk create sidebar and we click on continue. And then you'll see that it's got a preview of all of the rows that are in that data file that we exported from Arrow and then we imported into Canva. Okay. And you can see here it's going to generate 20 designs. Okay. And it's actually giving you a preview of the first name that's going to be used. You can see a few of our records don't have a first name, so it's been replaced with property owner. And then we go ahead and we click on generate and we let Canva do its thing. And what that's going to do is it's actually going to open a new Canva document. Okay, you can see that we've been taken to this new window, this new tab here. Okay, we've got bulk 1 DL flyer, right, to indicate that it's been created in bulk. And we've got a lot of pages. Okay, if I switch to the grid mode in Canva, you'll see that it's automatically created 40 pages for us, right? 40 pages because we had a 2-page Canva document and we had 20 properties or prospects that we bulk generated this for, right? So 2 times 20 is 40, and that's what it's spat out. Switch back to this mode. I might just zoom out a touch just so we can move through these and you can see what we've got. Okay, so here's the first one, property owner. Second one, Ernie. Third one, Francine. Fourth one, Denise. Okay. So we've been able to create those flyers. We've been able to personalize them. No one's had to sit here and wade through 40, 60, 80 pages changing first names and manually typing them in, right? It's automatically spat that out, okay? And then from there, we can go ahead and proceed with our printing process or whatever you might do, right? Whether you send them off to a printer or you print them in your own office. There's even a print facility inside Canva as well, where you can actually order print material by clicking on this print button, and it gets delivered to your door, which is pretty amazing. But let's say we just wanted to do that download into a print ready PDF file for us to then either send to our local printer in our office or send to a printer that you use to print all your flyers, right? We just go ahead and click on download. We would change this to PDF print. Okay, so it's going to do it in print quality or vector quality graphics so that it comes out nice and crisp and clear. Okay, we click on that. We've got a bunch of options here that are print specific options. It's generally a good idea if you're going to send it to an actual professional printing location that you include crop marks and bleed. Okay, that's just some printer stuff. They'll know what that is. And then these are all optional. You really don't need to do too much here. Okay, and we just go ahead and click on download. Canva will do its thing. I'm not going to do that just because it is generating this print quality file. It can take 2-3 minutes, so we don't want to get bogged down doing that. But click on that and it'll spit that PDF file with every single one of these pages in it, and we're done. We've bulk generated our flyers using our data from Arrow. Okay, no manual creation there. All right, next up in the video, we're going to do essentially the same thing, but we're going to do it into a mail merge a Word document using the mail merge process, okay, the more traditional mail merge process. Essentially the same thing that we just did there, but I want to show you through just doing it inside Word, using that data from Arrow, just to show you how to map to some of those fields that Arrow spits out into a document inside Microsoft Word, okay? So we're going to, similar to before, we're going to jump on that lead fleet download page. Okay, and if we scroll down, like I said before, we've got those written letters. Okay, if we click on written letters, it's going to take me to the Word documents to download, and you can download those. And assuming you have a Word reading or Word application on your computer, you'll be able to open those and get started with that process. Okay, I'm not going to go through the whole download thing. I've effectively already done that. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Word on my computer. All right, so here we are in Word. I'm using Microsoft Word. There's a bunch of other Word programs that you can use. If you don't have Microsoft Word, you could even use Google Drive and use their Docs program. Or I believe there's some other native programs for Mac users as well. I'm gonna run with Microsoft Word just because it's what most people are using. Okay, so all I've done is I've opened up one of those documents that are in that free download from Lead Fleet. I've chosen the booking appraisals on your street. Okay, now these documents, they're written pretty generic. I would absolutely recommend that you change some of that content. It's pretty simple just to get you moving, get some ideas flowing, so that you can come in here and you can replace things in here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just to start with, we're going to chuck in our details. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and put in my name and phone number to get started. We could continue and put in emails, website addresses, all that kind of stuff. You can also put in your letterhead up the top and images down in the footer. Okay, you can do whatever you want in this Word document and still bulk create it. Okay, I'm going to keep it as that just to keep this video moving, and we're going to get started on the bulk or the mail merge process. Okay, so what we do is we come up to our mailings tab and we go start mail merge. We go to select recipients and we go use an existing list, and then we come in and we select our CSV file that we'd exported from Arrow earlier, and then depending on what computer you're using, it might pop up and ask you what format you want to use and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to move straight through this. And then that data has now been loaded. Okay, so we can now go through the process of using that data in our template. Okay, so you can do all sorts of things. You can make manual edits to that data now. You can filter things out of that data. If you've got a massive list, 1,000+ prospects, you might want to filter some of the poor data out at that point. You can absolutely come in here and do that. And then we can come in and insert merge fields. Okay. So for this one, we are going to go with owner with salutation. Okay, so all we do is we click into where we want to insert that merge field, and then we click on insert merge field, and we're going to go owners with salutation. Okay, now you can see that's put in the little Microsoft Word formatted merge field in there, owners with salutation. We're going to chuck a comma on the end there, just so it says Dear John Doe, comma, and then new line, and that merge field has now been inserted. Okay, now there's a bunch more we could do here. We can keep going and inserting more merge fields. There's full address labels in that the Arrow system generates, so that if you are going to fold this up, put in an envelope with a little address window, you can put that at the top of your document, and that's going to be dynamically generated for every letter. We can start including the address that we're sending this to, all sorts of stuff. Okay, it's essentially the same process. We choose the merge field we want to put in, we put it in the position we want, and then it's going to do its thing. Okay, I'm not going to go through adding a whole bunch of merge fields because it is just the same process, rinse and repeated. What I really want to show you now is how we now go and use that data to bulk generate these letters. Okay, so we've inserted our merge field. We can preview results up the top here by clicking on preview, and then go through and see it actually do it on the fly. And then if we're all happy with that and we're liking how it's including the data, we go ahead and click finish and merge. Now we can either go straight to print, or we can go and edit, so get a preview of the documents before we then send it off to the printer. So I'm going to do that just to show you. So edit individual documents, and you can see mail merge, record 21 was an empty record, so we had an empty row at the bottom of our CSV file there. That's fine, so it'll skip that because there's nothing in it. Click on OK, and much like what we did with the Canva document before, we've got this big document that's been produced that has 20 Word doc templates. Okay, all mail merge with that data that we brought out of the Arrow system. Next step from there would obviously be to just review those documents, make sure you're happy with what's been generated. It's super easy to go back and make some tweaks, do it again. If you are happy with it, file, print, send it off to your printer. The good thing about Word docs is they are a lot more simple. There's no graphics, there's no crazy stuff on there that's going to be hard for your printer to handle. So your local, your printer in your office is going to be able to handle most of these documents. So you can move super quickly with this, send it off to the printer, print it, get it to the delivery boy, and start dropping these in those letterboxes. Okay. That's about it for me today. Yeah, like I said at the start of the video, print marketing, letterbox drop flyers, definitely not dead. Definitely a tool to be using. And yeah, purpose of today's video was to show you some little tips and tricks on how to get that data out of your Arrow database and into either Canva or Word and produce those documents nice and quickly. If you need any assistance with anything you've heard today, or assistance with, getting your data into the prospecting area of Arrow, if you haven't been doing that or you haven't been maintaining it, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll absolutely give you a hand. There's a bunch of things we can do to import data or move data over from your contact database if you haven't been maintaining it up until now, to help you get to the point where you can do these kind of exports and start to manage your prospect database and obviously generate this print marketing. Thank you for listening.